Right, BKO.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oluchukwu
Oluchukwu
Cletus said,
Klesa
good
said,
evening.
good evening, Maestro. I have a question. What should be the best way to share the 8,000 naira promised by the Tinubu-led government? That's a Cletus. Okay, he said from Ogun State. Yeah. You answer that. But Victor Patrick said the president sincerely means well for the country, and he's someone that really wants to succeed. But Nigeria is a very complicated country. If you just pray for him to succeed. Abel Ghana, Babajide, the president cannot do much. The National Assembly should be the one checking, to reduce spending. Felix Akiode says, hopefully the price control board mooted will work, provided the political will and stakeholders are able to contribute on proposed board. So quickly respond to Cletus's question about how you think could be the best way to share the 8,000 naira promised by the government. Quickly.
Frankly, that is not a policy that I believe in, because it is not something that can go far. It's not something. I'm not saying that 8,000 is nothing. That's not what I'm saying, but how much can it do? How much can it do in today's Nigeria? For me, whatever we can do to drive down fuel prices, it will reduce transportation costs. And transportation costs is one of the reasons we are having high food prices, because transporters have to, the cost of transportation has to be built into the price of those commodities. So you can't blame the people selling those commodities, because they've had their transportation costs, and transport costs have gone up seriously. To travel to my state, Kogi now, from Lagos during the last Salah, people pay 10,000 naira per head. I mean, look at that jump. Something that we used to pay like 2,000, 3,000 before, going to straight to 10,000. So it's even tough for people to travel now. Things are generally tough for people. I don't think 8,000 can do so much. But you see, the former president made a law about this conditional cash transfer. So Ashwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu is obligated to continue this conditional cash transfer. And I think he also believes in it. But I don't think, for me, if you ask me, 8,000 naira, it's not a lot of money in today's Nigeria. And it can only do a little for people. We have to think of other methods that we can adopt to alleviate the pains of our people. Honestly, government has to sit down, think about what it can do to alleviate the pains of our people, reduce transportation costs. If they are going to flood our cities with mass transit buses, some of using compressed natural gas, which is very cheap compared to petrol. Compressed natural gas, it's like the equivalent of 150 naira per liter, whereas fuel is over 500 naira per liter. So our people will find that much more accessible and cheap. So we need to do our best to save our people from the terrible times that they are going through at this time. Because the more government fails to do something to ease the pains of our people, the more the government will be popular. So
absolutely,
I sure class is work cut out for him. He has to think of what he can do to alleviate, to ameliorate the pains of our people. He has to think out of the box, and thank God is someone who does not like to see people suffer. So he has to really do something at this time.
Right. Jami Bamdele says, what BKO is saying here about food prices only underscores the importance of declaration of emergency of food and adding it to national security. So BKO, there is a comment from Mitun Songa. And I wanted to respond to it as we close. That's the closing thoughts from you. It says, Babajide, please stop giving an impression on live TV, especially on journalist hangouts, that you influence government of the day's decisions and have links with Mr. President. You may not know who is who. Don't be too outspoken.
About what?
Outspoken. He's asking you not to be too outspoken.
About what?
About your analysis. You know, he's saying that. Yeah.
Eh? I didn't hear part of what you wrote. What you mean?
Okay. Let me take it again. Can you hear me, BKO?
Oh yeah.
Right. It says, Babajide, please stop giving an impression on live TV, especially on JH, that you influence governments of the day's decisions and have links with Mr. President. You may not know who is who. Don't be too outspoken.
I didn't. So where did I say I influenced an opinion, a decision?
Government decision.
Yes. Where did I? So the truth is, government watches our program. There's no program that Asiwaju Bola Tinubu watches more than JH. I say that I can be quoted. There's no program in Nigeria that he watches like JH. And TVC is on Sky. So that even when he's abroad, when he's in the UK, he can watch us. He watches us religiously. I know this. I'm not boasting. Ask anyone in Aso Rock. In fact, in Aso Rock, they don't joke with journalists hangouts. I remember the day we were attacking the VP, Oshibajo. We didn't know that he was watching us. He called into the program. He called in by himself. And we were all ashamed. We didn't know that he was watching. So they watch us. They know that we give them the right advice. They know that we love our country. They know that we mean well. We have gone past. We are not like the other journalists who are in the business simply because of money. I don't see Mr. President often. And I do not boast that I'm close to him. I don't have to be close to him. But I do my job. I can suggest, I can make suggestions to him. And I know that when I make suggestions, because he knows I'm a patriot, he knows that I mean well, he will look at some of those suggestions and do what is right. We've seen him do that in the past. We've seen other governments to do that. We've seen Buhari do that. We've seen even the president, the former president's wife, take our advice. That is our job. And when I suggested that, Mr. President, there are decent people in the army who can do a good job as service chiefs. And I mentioned 3 individuals, 2 of them from the north, 1 from the south. And at the end of the day, 2 of the 3 guys became service chiefs. It's not just because the president listened to me. He must have listened to other people. He consulted widely. He consulted widely. Tinubu as an individual consults widely. He will listen to what we are saying. There was a time he watched us and he said, look, sometimes you need to put these things down so that you can send it to those in government. It was during the Buhari regime. So it's not as if I'm boasting or that I want people to know I'm close to the people in government. I've never boasted about being close to people in government. It is their right to obey, to abide by my suggestions or ignore them. But I know that a good number of them know that based on my honesty and integrity, when I make suggestions, it is for the good of our country. And they have taken to a lot of the suggestions that I've made, so many. Even army chiefs. I've seen suggestions that I made that the army, in the end, decided to do exactly what I suggested to them to do. So there is a point that you reach in your career that when you make these suggestions and you're an influential journalist, they would want to take a second look at what you have said. If I make suggestions about the army, they see me go with the army to dangerous places. They know that I'm close to people in the army. They know that I mean well. So it's not a matter of being outspoken. I've always been outspoken. I will never cease to be outspoken. This is me, and it's too late to change.